Hey, what's up, everyone? This is the watch list video for Monday, October 25th. It looks like the SPY, if I can, I'm not positive, it looks like it hit all-time highs on an intraday basis on Friday. And a few highlights before I get into the watch list for tomorrow. A few highlights from Friday. And I'm going to point some out here in a minute, but anyway, BENE was running, so BENEW. A lot of the warrants are running with some of these crazy moves. And I think somebody in chat pointed out BENEW was running. And when it looked like this, I put out a fives buy zone whole number flush idea. And I actually got filled. This doesn't happen very often, but I got filled at the exact bottom right there, 281. But anyone bidding under 3 in that fives buy zone and above 281 or 281 or above, probably got filled. And we got from 281 pretty quickly. These are 5-minute candles, so 10 within 15 minutes was all the way up to 550. And I'll play these crazy whippy things as long as they're in play. But what I did point out when the afternoon came around, a lot of things were just round tripping, and then I stopped bidding on pullbacks on these crazy ones. But anyway, that was one of the highlights from Friday. I also called WE after that first 5-minute candle, second mouse through 1350. It had already breached it once, pulled back, and then there's the 1350 break, second mouse, and it went pretty quickly to 1497. So almost a $1.50 move, which was a pretty neat entry. What was another one? SALM. I called second mouse through 5, which it looked like this. It was running with some of the other crazy ones. It had run up here, halted, and then opened at 5, and then pushed up a little bit and then came back down. So I loved and I've told you guys this before, I will treat a stock coming out of a halt like I will a gap play. So for me, this was, almost treating this like the opening price and then seeing if it gives a setup. So it's almost like it opened at 5, right? Because it's out of the halt. I liked it back through 5 with the earlier high just 8 cents above. And so that happened here. And then we got a quick halt again, and then it just ripped. That was one of my bigger trades for the day. And then also I saw that Kevin P posted PTLO. It's a pretty clean setup. You had the gap up, sell off, then a rip, and then kind of a little flag there. And he called it second mouse through 38, which pretty quickly went to almost 45, 44.99. So almost a $7 move there after Kevin P's call. If you're not following him in chat, you should be. Anyway, there's a few highlights. What was I going to point out? I was going to point out a couple things like that SALM, by the way. Had a big rip, but closed way off its highs. Some other ones are like GROM. You see a lot of this from Friday. And I've said this before, a lot of times when the market gets manic, it used to kind of last 2-3 weeks, a month maybe, the mania. And I've said over the last year, I've noticed that when the mania comes back, it doesn't last quite as long, right? And, sometimes it can only be a day or two. So you don't want to keep trading the crazy ones like they're going to work if they're not. I know it's a stupid way to put it, but just be very cautious because you don't want to get into that somewhat, hey, it's a fishing with dynamite market, and then quickly find out things have already changed, and they don't last as long. I just want to point that out. That doesn't mean we won't have some mania for the next week or two or the next month. I don't know. I just want everyone to be cautious, all right? So what are we watching for Monday? PayPal, PYPL. I just put it back on Bounce Watch. Another red day. It's pretty beaten up over the last few days. BBIG, just a former ripped here and had a nice secondary bounce here. And it's right back down to that 5 support area after 4 red days in a row. So, if it's going to bounce, this is a good area to start watching it for a potential bounce play. I'll only take it with a proper A+ intraday setup. Pinterest had the big rip back here, PINS, and now we've got a couple days lower, getting near the 8-day. So I'm putting that on Bounce Watch. PROG was on Bounce Watch coming into Friday, but I never caught an entry in it. If you look at 5-minute candles, it happened pretty quick. It was a great gap down bounce play setup right there, and it ripped, but I just didn't see it. So unfortunately, I didn't make a dime from it. But it's pretty darn strong again, so we're going to watch for a follow-through of that bounce. BROS is that coffee shop play. I think they're out on the West Coast. It just continues to grind higher. and a big day on Friday. So it's a little extended in the short term, but it's so strong I want to keep it on watch. RDW right back up near recent highs. I want to keep that one on watch. GWH got a nice bounce from that buy zone on Friday and got most of its volume near the end of the day. So that, tells me, hey, maybe something's up. We're going to watch that one. OLN looks like it's breaking out to, I think, all-time highs. That's monthly candle, so it probably is all-time highs. Anyway, it's had trouble with this $52 area from back here, and finally broke out. So it's extended, but I want to watch for a follow-through setup. Whoops, that's OLN. ME, really strong. Had the gap up, then an inside day, then a gap down, and a bullish engulfing candle. So that one's strong enough. We got to keep that one on watch. DWAC, it's just a crazy stock. I've been doing really well in it the last couple days, and even though it literally went to 175 even, and hats off to Sophia from the chat room. She sold some at the exact 175. She nailed the top on that, which was kind of cool. Anyway, now it's settled at 94, and after hours, it looks like it closed at $80-ish, $80.65. So certainly an in-play stock, and you'd be a fool not to have it on watch, but we're going to make sure it has an A+ setup on an intraday basis before I'll even consider it. MARK, just a big rip on Friday, and we'll see if it gives some kind of follow-through day. SGBX, same thing, big rip on Friday. We'll see if it does something on Monday. And then lastly, XPDI, which is really extended, but I still think it's, it's a relatively recent IPO, and so its entire range is like from whatever this is, maybe 970 to 12, so it's not that big of a range since it's come public. It looks like it topped out almost at 12. Anyway, I guess you could argue it held up pretty well after that rip on Friday. It's extended, but I am going to put it on a chart. All right, I'm going to leave it at that, and we'll add gappers to this list in the pre-market on Monday morning, and I'm done babbling. I'll see you guys in the chat room.